Hi designers, in this video we will create an infinity logo in Adobe Illustrator and then animate it in After Effects. Start by opening Adobe Illustrator and creating a new artboard. You'll see that I've already placed the color palette here. These are the colors I'll be using. Select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle on the artboard. Now, switch to the direct selection tool and curve all the sides of the rectangle to form a circle. Using the direct selection tool again, focus on one part of the circle. Click in the center and drag that selected area to create a corner, like this. Apply a black stroke to the shape and remove the white fill for now. Select the shape with the selection tool. Hold Shift on your keyboard and rotate the shape so it rotates exactly 90 degrees. We need another shape inside, so go to Object, Path, and select Offset Path. Since we want a smaller shape, input a negative value for the offset. Once you're satisfied with the size, press OK. Next, duplicate the shape you've just created. Select it, go to Edit, and click Copy. Then go to Edit again and select Paste in front. The shortcut for copying is Ctrl+C, and for pasting in front, it's Ctrl+F. We'll use these shortcuts moving forward. Now, scale up the new shape you just duplicated. Again, we need to duplicate the smaller shape. Select it, press Ctrl+C to copy it, and press Ctrl+F to paste it in front. Scale this duplicated shape towards the right and move it slightly downwards, like this. Now, select everything and use the Shape Builder tool. Swipe across the shapes like this to unite them into a single form. Once that's done, take the selection tool, select the entire shape, and scale it down. Right-click on the shape, go to Transform, and select Reflect. Choose to reflect it vertically, then press Copy. Move the newly reflected shape to the right using the keyboard arrows. Zoom in to ensure that both shapes are perfectly aligned, and adjust if necessary to make sure they are properly touching, not awkwardly placed. Once everything is perfectly aligned, select all the elements again, take the Shape Builder tool, and unite the lines where needed to create one cohesive logo. Perfect, your logo is now complete. The next step is to apply color. Select the logo and scale it up to your desired size. Before applying color, there's one more thing to do. Select everything again, go to the Window menu, and open the Pathfinder panel. Choose the Divide option. Then right-click and ungroup the shapes. Now you can begin adding colors according to your preference. When you divide the shapes, they all become separate sections, so you can remove the shapes in between to create hollow spaces, like in certain areas of the logo. Now, let's talk about the importance of having a color palette already set up on your artboard. It makes the process much smoother because you already have a guide for your color combinations. Even if you adjust tints or shades later, sticking to your initial palette ensures that the overall look remains consistent without ruining the harmony of your colors. Once the coloring is complete, select the entire logo and group it to keep everything together. Now, it's time to save the file. Rename it Infinity Logo and save it. Now let's move on to the animation in After Effects. Open After Effects and import the logo you just created. When importing, make sure to select Composition Retain Layer Sizes so that each layer remains intact. Drag and drop the composition into the timeline, or double-click on it to open. This is where we'll begin animating the logo. First, let's take the Pen tool. You can use it to create a shape here in After Effects, but for this tutorial, we'll create the shape in Adobe Illustrator since it's easier to handle there. So, open Adobe Illustrator again and select the Pen tool. Lock the Infinity logo by selecting it, going to the Object menu, and choosing Lock. Now, with the pen tool, start drawing a shape on top of the Infinity logo. If the lines aren't perfectly smooth, don't worry, we'll fix them later. You'll need to make 3 loops around the Infinity logo, following its path closely. We won't close the shape, just follow the design. And again, if the lines are rough or too sharp in some places, that's fine. We'll adjust those soon. Once the shape is drawn, select it and go to Object, then Path, and choose the Simplify option. You can either simplify the shape by increasing the value or, if that doesn't give the desired result, use the Smooth tool. Select the Smooth tool and carefully smooth out the curved areas until you're happy with the shape. Now that the shape is refined and smooth, let's place it over the Infinity logo. Copy the shape by pressing Ctrl+C. Head back to After Effects, where the pen tool is already selected. Click once with the pen tool in After Effects, then press Ctrl+V to paste the shape you created in Illustrator into After Effects. Now, if there is any fill on the shape, remove it and apply only a stroke. Increase the stroke value to around 10. Next, go to the properties of the shape layer and click on the Add option. From the drop-down menu, choose Trim Paths. Open the Trim Paths 1 options, and you'll see a property called End. Click on the stopwatch next to End to set a keyframe and change the end value to 0. Now, move the time indicator a few frames forward and set the end value to 100. After that, move the bar indicator back, but not all the way to the first frame, just a few frames away from it. Click the stopwatch next to Start and set a keyframe. Move the time indicator a few frames past the second end keyframe and set the start value to 100%. Preview the animation, and you'll see the shape gradually revealing itself. If necessary, you can adjust the timing or position of the keyframes for smoother transitions. Once you're satisfied, close the Trim Paths 1 properties and head over to Stroke 1. Open the Taper 1 options and set both the start length and end length to about 50%. This will give the line a tapered effect, making the start and end sleek and pointed. Now, preview the animation again, and you'll notice the tapered effect adding a professional touch to the line. Adjust the stroke weight if needed to make it stand out more. Apply the glow effect to the shape. After applying, tweak the glow radius and glow intensity to achieve the desired level of brightness and softness around the line. Now, let's duplicate shape layer 1 by selecting it and pressing Ctrl-D on your keyboard. In the duplicated layer, change the stroke color to orange or any color you want from the logo's palette. Adjust the position slightly by moving it either up or down, so the 2 layers don't overlap completely. Change the layer's label color to orange as well, so you can easily identify it later as the orange layer. Now, duplicate this orange shape layer by pressing Ctrl-D again. Change the stroke color of the new layer to pink. Adjust its position, moving it above the white line, and change the layer color to pink as well. Next, duplicate the pink layer by pressing Ctrl-D. This time, change the stroke color to blue. Press OK, and change the layer's color to blue too. Adjust its position to make sure it's spaced properly from the other layers. Finally, duplicate the layer once more by pressing Ctrl-D, and change the stroke color to purple. Also, give this layer a purple label color. At this point, hide the Infinity logo layer, so the shape layers you've created become fully visible. Now, take a look at the positioning of the lines. The blue and purple layers might be stacked on top of each other, so adjust their positions to spread them out. Move the purple line all the way down, just below the orange line. Move the white layer to the top of the stack so it remains visible. Adjust the positioning of all the lines as needed, ensuring they're spaced evenly and nothing is overlapping. Once that's done, preview the animation. You'll notice that all the shape layers are moving at the same time, which can make the animation look too synchronized. To create a more natural flow, let's offset the keyframes slightly. Select all the shape layers and press U to reveal the keyframes. Make more space in the timeline to easily work with the keyframes. Now, offset the keyframes by moving some of them a frame or two forward or backward. It doesn't need to be a large gap, just enough to add a slight delay between the layers. Once that's done, preview the animation again. Now, move the timeline indicator to the point where the shape layer animations finish. At this moment, unhide the Infinity logo layer. We'll now add a small, minimal animation to the logo so it appears on the screen. Take the pen tool and start tracing the shape of the Infinity logo with it, following the outline as shown. Adjust the path as needed to make sure it matches the logo accurately. Adjust the path as needed to make sure it matches the logo accurately. Once the path is drawn, go to the Effects panel, search for Stroke Effect, and apply it to the Infinity logo layer. In the stroke settings, change the paint style to Reveal Original Image. Increase the brush size and brush hardness to 100%. Click the stopwatch next to the end property in the stroke effect and press U to reveal the keyframes. Set the end value to 0 at the starting keyframe. Move the timeline indicator a few frames forward and set the end value to 100. Preview the animation, but if you notice the logo stroke is not animating as expected or if you encounter intersecting points that don't look right, then use the selection tool to fine-tune the stroke path, especially around the intersecting points of the infinity symbol, to ensure it animates cleanly. Select both keyframes and press F9 to apply Easy Ease. If there's a noticeable gap between the end of the shape layer animation and the start of the logo animation, move the keyframe of the Infinity logo's stroke effect slightly to the left so the logo begins to appear immediately after the shape layers finish their animation. Now, preview the animation one last time to see the final result. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it, leave a comment, and subscribe to Ace Designs.